In today's video, we are going to look at a story that is currently on circulation in the media about 700 students who might be facing likely deportation out of Canada. Why? Because the admission letter they used to enter into Canada had been seen as fake. And you are wondering, how is it that they found out? Because these individuals were actually done with school and they were applying for permanent residence. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Aboagye and I create content on studying abroad. In today's video, I'm going to talk about fake admission letters. Yes, you heard me right, fake admission letters. In January of this year, I talked about this issue and warned people to be wary about the admission letters they get, especially if they used agents. And this was because I had actually gotten access to an admission letter. The individual was not really comfortable or was not really sure if the admission letter was fake or it was real, so they reached out to me and showed me the admission letter, and upon looking at the letter I actually realized it was fake. In today's video, we are going to look at a story that is currently on circulation in the media about 700 students who might be facing likely deportation out of Canada. Why? Because the admission letter they used to enter into Canada had been seen as fake. And you are wondering, how is it that they found out? Because these individuals were actually done with school and they were applying for permanent residence. And upon scrutinization, the border agents or IRCC realized that the admission letter they used to enter into Canada was fake, and this was termed as misrepresentation. So let's look at the story, and I'm going to share my thoughts on what I think about it. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about it. Is it right for them to be deported out of Canada after they've paid so much school fees? So actually, averagely, the fees in Canada is about 10,000 Canadian dollars per year, which means in the year they spend like 30,000 Canadian dollars. And maybe I'm exaggerating, but averagely to immigrate to Canada as a student, you might need 50,000 plus Canadian dollars without a scholarship. So will all this money go in the drain? So let's look at the story. So this is actually the post I made about people being issued fake admission letters. But let's look at the story I'm talking about. So Outrage made reports that hundreds of Indian students in Canada could face deportation over bogus admission letters. And a big disclaimer, this is not only to Indian students, because the story the first post I made about on my Twitter was because of an admission letter I'd received from a Ghanaian. So this case it's rampant worldwide, not just in India. It just so happened that this story is from people from India. So this is this person's story. So more than 2 years after completing his studies, the 27-year-old international graduate from Punjab says he now has been told that the letter he used to enter Canada was fake and that his immigration dream is likely going to be shattered, and this is sad. The number of people have still not been confirmed, but from stories from major news outlets, the number is 700, but I know this number could be more than that. So how did they find out? So the fraud came to light when these students applied for permanent residency. So they were done with their school and they wanted to change from a student visa to a PR. And this is when they scrutinized or they relooked at their admission letters. It showed that the letter they entered Canada with was fake. This education fraud is one of its kind, which came to the fore in Canada for the first time. So after tech students, many having been here since 2017, has formed various social media groups, and the number of people facing removal is estimated at around 700. All involving the service of the same education agent. This is why it's very important to be very wary of the immigration or the education agent you use. And this is the sad thing. The agent was very clever. He did not put his name, put his stamp on the visa application. He made it appear that the students were self-representing. Taggart told the Star. CBS says your file shows you self-represented, hence go back. So it doesn't show that they actually use an agent. It shows that they applied on their own, which unfortunately is not the case. And so some of the students looking to study abroad do not qualify for admission and may seek help from unscrupulous consultants to gain entry, and they can be equally at fault, he said. So this is where they are saying that you know very well that you do not qualify for admission, but you go for somebody to find a way and means to get you admission. So it doesn't matter how many years, one day will come back to bite you. Unfortunately, this is what happened to these people, and these stories are very rampant when it comes to studying in the colleges. So he got his admission. So what happened was the agency provided him an admission letter from Fashawe College for his student visa application, and he entered Canada with the document. However, he said agency staff in India then called him upon his arrival in Canada to tell him that he didn't need to go to the campus because the school's business management program was full. They refunded his parents the deposit for one semester's tuition fee. Instead, he said he scrambled to find a school and was accepted by St. Lawrence College in a similar program. So he actually changed schools when he applied to Canada. So he was done with his program and he received a 3-year postgraduate work permit. Then last spring, he was contacted by the border agency to show up for an interview in their Hamilton office. So this is what happened. That was when they realized that the admission letter that he entered the country with was false. How did this come after 4 or 5 years? The letter they said was fake. We showed it to immigration when we landed at Toronto Pearson Airport. We are still shocked. We do not know what to do. So at the border of Canada, normally they ask you certain questions to find out. So how were they even able to enter into the country with fake admission letters? This is really sad. So it's unfortunate that if these people are being removed when immigration and border officers were not able to previously verify the fraud, said McDonald. It seems cruel to punish those people who are seen to be taken advantage of when the fraudulent documents were not caught. Like before you travel from Ghana to Canada, I'm not sure if this is the case for other countries, but they actually do confirm that all your documents are right. So what happens is they're at the airport. There are agents that actually scan your letters and they send it to somebody, I think it's the embassy, to confirm. And even when you get to the border of Canada, like there are a lot of questions, they recheck your documents. So it's sad because how were these people able to get access into the country for like over 5 years, and now that it's time for them to enjoy the fruit of their labor, they have to return to their home country? Who do you think is to blame? Is it the students for not doing their due diligence and ensuring that the admission letter they got was right? Or is it the agent who took advantage of the student? Or is it the border or Canadian border agents who allowed these students into the country, and after spending all this much money, they have to return to their home country? These stories are sad, but there are so many of them, and currently I've actually developed an interest in these stories, so I'll be sharing them on my channel. Let me know. So there are stories where people got their PR by getting married and they have to be deported. There are stories where people got caught because they were acting as unlicensed immigration, helping people to get admission when they were not licensed and they had to be deported. There are stories where people had to be deported for working overtime. Let me know if these are stories you like to know, and I'm going to share my thoughts. So now, what do you have to do if you receive an admission letter from an agent? The first thing I always advise people is, if you do not apply yourself, pick a phone and call the university. So let's say you go admitted to Seneca College. It's a college in Canada. You go online, don't ask for the number or don't take the number from the admission letter, because this is what I did when I received the fake admission letter. I went online, I searched for the name of the school, and I called them and I told them that, okay, I have an admission and I want to confirm if my admission is true or not. They will ask for your application number, they'll ask for your name, they'll ask for your date of birth, and they'll ask for maybe the period you're applying, if it's fall or winter. You give them those information and they are going to check in their system to see if this is right. You should do this yourself. and take the number from Google. Don't use the admission letter to do so. I hope this video was useful. If you haven't yet subscribed, kindly do so. Like, share, comment, until you hear from me again.